What's going on? What's going on, everybody? This is Xavier, the Traffic Link. You can find me on most all socials at the Traffic Link. Coming to you again. This is my second live. The first live didn't go well. Starting all over again. Because if you get knocked down, you got to get back up again. And one thing I'm learning is how to do this well. I don't know YouTube that well. In fact, I remember a period of time I was very intimidated by going live on YouTube. Maybe it was like a year ago, in fact, that I started. A little bit less than a year ago, I started going live on YouTube, and it was a big intimidation factor, but I've gotten over that now. So I want to jump right into why we're here today. So first and foremost, let's talk about you guys as consultants, as you're in the health and wellness field. You have some sort of consultancy, or you have some way that you talk to people, interact with people. Your process is a pretty long process as far as getting people into your seat and getting people in front of you so that you can do what you do to bring value to the world, right? I'm in support of you because you support others. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on. And one thing I wanted to hit on is, are the 6 systems that we've been talking about still relevant in 2025? We're at the quarter mark in the year, and we're seeing so many advances in technology over the last, 8 months to a year, to where it's starting to become, getting to a kind of high point, or a place where you start to ask, is this even relevant anymore? You start to ask yourself, is this even something that it matters, right? And first and foremost, I want to say that in everything in business is based on a system, right? I was watching on YouTube. There's a guy that has this podcast or a channel called School of Hard Knocks, and he goes around and he interviews people and asks them, what age were you when you made your first million? How did you go about doing it? And one guy spoke up and said, I just launched the business in January, and already it's into the multiple 7 figures. And the guy that's interviewing, the guy that owns the channel, School of Hard Knocks, goes, wow, how did you do that? Just showing general interest in what it was that he was saying. And what he said was, and it was very profound, it said, systems. I built a system so that if I plug any business into the system, it's going to work. And I want to break that down just a little bit. I'm 98% sure that if I were to talk to him one-on-one, I could identify the systems that he's using to generate 6 and 7 figure, even 8-figure income. And those systems are broken down into 6 categories. And we're going to walk through those 6 categories, and we're going to get up out of here, right? I already spent like 35, 40 minutes on live just a minute ago, and I realized all the way by the time I got done that my audio was off. So we're gonna go back and hit it again. So first and foremost, off the top, this is where most people live and die. Most people, if you're in the health and wellness space and you're at a certain point, maybe say you're at the 750,000 a year to the low millions, like 2 to 3 millions, you probably are, if you're trying to make more you're trying to make more money, trying to make more business so that you can enjoy life and do the things you want to do and serve more people. Maybe serving more people and helping them get out of their situation is where your motivation lies. You're at this place where you're like, okay, in order for me to make more, I need to show up more on social media. And let me tell you that when you're engaging in that activity, you're in support of System 1. You're doing System 1. What System 1 is basically is traffic and attraction. How do you generate traffic, and how do you get attraction so you can get more clients? And most people keep it 100. That's where they stop. They don't even think about what else happens after that. In all the conversations that I've had with people throughout the years, they all stop at the point of wondering, what is it that I need to do? And the first thing they say is, I need to get online more, and I need to make more content, whatever that is, and then I need it so that I can get more business. Right. And I've actually seen it in my time helping other people where they've gotten they've gotten online and they started to create content, and they're starting to get a little bit of traction. They're attracting people, and then they don't know what to do with those people. They get overwhelmed by the response, right? And so it's important to understand what goes into your traffic and attraction piece. Okay. First and foremost, a content strategy. If you're going to talk about getting online, right? You're talking about you need a content strategy. If your traffic and attraction system includes meeting people face to face, maybe networking is a place where you need to exist, right? If you're online and if you're meeting people, or you're sending out mailers, right? Then that's a part of your traffic and attraction system one. If you're doing other type of media, you might even be looking into getting into commercials for television, because they're all of a sudden cheap, because most people are not on in front of their televisions anymore. They're on their devices, right? They're on their phone. They're watching YouTube. You're watching YouTube now, right? All these things are what go into your system for generating traction, or generating traffic and attraction for your business, right? That's all makes up a big system. And you got to think about what goes into it. If you're social media, there's content strategy, right? If it's in print media, it's print schedules, contacting a printer, getting the right messaging at the right time, looking at the calendar, recognizing what time and season you're in, and making sure that they get out at the right time. If it's online, if it's in television media, then you're talking about who do I call to record my content? Who do I talk to get in the content distributed to all the networks that are necessary? These are all systems. And I know this to be a fact. A lot of us in business, and we're in small business, we don't think about what we do as a system. We just do what we do, right? We just go how we go. We don't take into account everything that needs to happen in order for us to get somebody that's a complete stranger to getting them to take a look at us, right? We just think, okay, well, we got to get business, so we just start creating, right? And I got to tell you, the reason why the gentleman in the episode of School of Hard Knocks said systems is because systems can be tweaked. They give you handles, levers, like insights. They give you analytics, things that you can hold on to, that you can play with to get it tuned up so that you can get your message in front of the right people at the right time, right? So that's what all goes into like system one. And a lot of us are very familiar with system one, and we live and die on that, but we don't take into account what happens if all of a sudden multiple people start to say, yeah, I'm interested. Because all of us have a cap, right? We have a cap on the number of people that we can serve, right? Imagine you're a counselor, right? And right now, mental health is at a mental health awareness and treatment is at like an all-time high. Especially coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people went into mental health scenarios where they need a professional to talk to about different things in their lives. And say, for instance, all of a sudden you went from being somebody that didn't have nobody on your calendar to having everybody on your calendar, or everybody interested in your calendar. And then all of a sudden you have like an overwhelm of people. Now, the businesses that succeed handle the overwhelm with grace. They know how to put people or sort people out so that the people that need the greatest amount of help are helped, and those that can wait a little while are offered the opportunity to wait a little while. And that's what leads into system two. System two is what I call capture and categorize, right? In other words, system two allows you the ability to get all these people that are now showing interest, figure out who's the most interested, who has the greatest need, and then be able to qualify them and then put them in a place where you can address their needs. And there's a lot that goes into this, right? You know, there might be a number of different, there might be a survey that you have. There might be an intake form that you have. There may be you may only want to work with people in a certain age category. You might want to only work with people that have this particular need, right? So if you're in the mental health space, you may only want to work with marriages. You may not want to work with people that are dealing with extreme depression, anxiety, and things like that. On it to its all to itself. Although I kind of know that plays into a lot of different things. Let's be real, right? If you have a mental issues, it could be because of that. But I'm no practitioner. I'm no counselor, so I don't have no degrees behind that, so I can't speak on it professionally. But I kind of know how that goes. I've been through one. But anyway, the point is you're capturing and you're categorizing people and you're qualifying. So that categorize, I basically mean qualifying. You might know that might be a better word for you to understand is qualify. How do you qualify people so that you can get them in the right place at the right time and give them the right service, right? You may be a consultant, right? You might have a health and wellness consultancy. You might only be able to work with people that are in the work with people that are in the med spa space, right? Or say you have a med spa, right? And that's a good one to use because now you got people that say they like you, they like your personality, they want to work with you, they see what you do, they like your personality. You showed up on social media well, you showed up in your networking events well, you showed up in your you went to a conference, you spoke on stage, they like you. Now you want to work with specific, they want to work with you. But say for instance that your specialty is in GLP-1. Say that you don't only work with people in that have GLP-1 needs, right? So you want to make sure that you're speaking to the people that are GLP-1 potential patients or GLP-1 potential clients, right? And maybe there might be more to it. If you recognize that if they're GLP-1, they might also be interested in some of your aesthetics, right? They might be interested in Botox, right? To make themselves not only look slimmer, but look more present. They might want to get rid of the lines in their forehead like I got here, get rid of those, right? Those are going to be what you qualify them for. You identify what they need and you start to qualify them, right? This is all in your system 2. And I say system 2 is the point at which optimization kicks in, at the point where if efficiency kicks in. This is where you start the process of being able to scale your business. Because the old saying goes, if you're talking to everybody, are you talking to anybody at all? And this is where you start to push people through this qualification tunnel, so that you can help them in the best way possible. Because it's nothing worse than talking to somebody that doesn't understand what you're saying. Right? Imagine you walked into, say you went to a country you're not from, and everybody there spoke a certain language, but you didn't understand their language. But imagine you just refused to take the time to speak the language in that country, but you just demanded that everybody knew how to speak English. And so therefore, if they didn't talk to you in your language, you wasn't going to be able to do nothing. But then, okay, imagine that your whole livelihood and how you get paid is depending on your ability to communicate with the people that are around you. That's what system 2 starts to address. Making sure that you're speaking the language of the people that you can help at your highest possible ability, right? So that you can start to address people according to what their need is. And you're not just giving them anything and then forcing them, because they're not going to spend the time. Donald Miller says it well. When people start to expend calories to figure out what it is that you do, they're gone. That starts at system 2, right? You want to make sure that you're identifying or start the process of qualifying people so you can identify what their needs are, right? That might come in the way of a form. That might come in the way of an intake process. That might come in the way of a phone call. There's automated systems that we have now that allow you the ability to call in, like an IVR system, things like that. That will be able to qualify people so that you can get them ready for the next step, which the next step is system 3. System 3 is being able to present and position your offer, right? So you can kind of see why system 2 is important, because the next step is to position your offer. So how do you position your offer? How do you go about doing that? There's a lot that goes into that. There's a number of different things that you could potentially be doing, right? Are we good? I'm getting an error saying YouTube is not responding in OBS. Okay, hopefully we're good. Hopefully you can still hear me. I see Simeon is joined. What's up, Simeon? So let's talk about that. Okay, so how you present your offer. Like, say for instance, you might be in a place where might want one-on-one. If you have a one-on-one scenario, you might need to get somebody on a phone call, right? You might need to get them on a Zoom call, right? Say you have a one-to-many. It's just you talking, and there's a bunch of people listening. Like, say for instance, you're hosting. Let's use the med spa. Say you're hosting an information session on, is GLP-1 really safe? And you might want to speak to a bunch of people. So you do a registration, send it out to your list of people that you currently have, or you go to your networking group and you promote this for a month. Let them know, hey, I'm going to be doing a webinar on the pros and cons of GLP-1, right? And you're going to get people, you might need a webinar platform to do that, right? You might want to need to maybe you're going to speak on stage, right? And do a in-person seminar, or you're going to be speaking to a company. You might, there's different ways that you can present your offer, but how you position your offer is all going to be based on the information that you gathered from the person. Because, say for instance, if you are a med spa, how you position your offer for somebody that wants Botox may be different than how you position your offer for someone that might be looking to get like injections, right? Or weight loss injections, right? It's just different, right? You got to know how to position it based on the information that's provided, and you got to know that you're positioning your offer for your particular target audience or your particular avatar, right? To the person that you have a solution to help solve. You got to make sure that system 3 is set up in such a way that it's addressing their issues. Part of your system may be a FAQ, right? Part of your system 3 may start even before they even get to the meeting by saying, just to recap, these are the things that we do in our business to help you in our business to help you achieve your goal, right? And breaking it down that way. Thanks, Simeon. I'm glad you can hear it. So I appreciate that. I really need that feedback. So that's how that works, right? You got to be able to have a system in place so that you can do that. And again, I want to reiterate, systems, simply put, are the routines, the things that you already do to be able to get somebody from point A to point B, right? And we're talking about like an ecosystem of systems, right? We're talking about a universe of systems, and there's 6 of them, and we're on system 3 now. Let's recap the first 2. System 1 is traffic and attraction. System 2 is system 2 is how you capture and you categorize. In other words, how you collect your leads, and then how you qualify your leads so you can get them all going in the same place. And then now we're on system 3. System 3 is like how you position your offer and how you present your offer, right? In other words, another way to look at positioning too is what problem does it solve, right? And how do you present your offer, right? It might be sitting down across across the table for somebody. And then you might be at a network meeting where you have a round robin. You got a certain number of minutes to be able to present your offer, right? That's all system 3, right? System 3 is really what gets somebody to go, oh, okay, that makes sense. I want to, that makes sense. I want to move forward and do that. Okay, I liked you. I learned to like you in system 1. And then I went through system 2. I found out that you did such and such, or that you really do help, you qualified me and made sure I was, I'm in the right demographic. I'm the right person. And now I'm in system 3 and I go, yeah, I think that you have the solution that I need. Right? So then they go, okay, good. So now we're moving into system 4. System 4 is the system that I think that a lot of us are really driving for. We look at system 1 and think that we're going to go immediately to system 4 without taking into any account for system 2 or system 3, right? And system 4 is how a sale is made. Like, how do you transact money, right? How do you transact value, right? I like to look at money as value, right? How do you transact and get the payment from the person, right? That's what system 4 is all about. And y'all in the medical space may be like, okay, well, we use insurance, but what about the copay, right? How do you transact that? Or maybe you're a counselor, right? Maybe you're you have a way to send somebody, you need to send somebody a payment. Now, I'll be honest. There's nothing worse than being on the back end of not having a good system 4. I've been on my heels plenty of times. Where somebody goes, yeah, actually, I do want to hire you. Then I'm like, oh, snaps. How do I collect the payment? How do I go about getting this payment collected? System 4, right? I need to have that system in place so that if somebody does say, yeah, let's move forward, I don't have to think about, oh, where do I go to get my proposal put together? Oh, where do I go to collect a payment? What kind of payments are you collecting, right? Are you collecting credit card payments? Are you collecting checks? Are you collecting cash? Like, that's all the routine or the system that I call system 4, right? Basically, how you transact a sale, right? Like, how do you close the deal? That's all in system 4. System 4. All of us want to go from system 1 to system 4. I know I do. I'll be the first one to tell you. Like, I want to get paid. I got bills to pay. I got cars to pay. I got stuff to take care of. You know what I'm saying? I got a kid in college. I want to live a good life. I want to go on vacations, right? It's all system 4. Now imagine if I didn't have a system 4 in place. Then I'll be stuck trying to figure out, how do I collect my cheese? How do I collect my money, right? How do I go about doing that? And there's a number of different processors out there that actually can help you collect payment, but not all processors are made the same, right? One, you got PayPal's one, right? Venmo's one, Stripe is one, NMI, like Nancy Mary Igloo, that's one. Authorize.net is one. There's a number of different payment processors that are out there, but not all of them do the same thing. And not all of them have the same fees, right? And depending on how your business is set up, that may be something of importance to you, right? How you have your consultancy set up. You need to know. You might have your payment system might require them to put down a deposit and then have a balance. Do you have a payment system in place that allows somebody to do that, right? And now I'm talking about beyond just like one-off scenarios. Say you did really good job with system 1, and now everybody that sees your content wants to get on board. Now they're going through the buyer journey, right? Because this is what we're talking about, really. You might have heard it said that this is the buyer's journey, right? To get somebody from stranger from curiosity to credit card swipe, or to payment processing, right? How does all that work, right? You got to take all that into consideration. So think about it for a minute and take a moment. Let's see if we got any questions in the chat. No questions in the chat. Think about that for a minute. So far, we talked about systems 1 through 4, and your consultancy and your health and wellness business. How are you currently doing that? Right? How are you getting somebody through these systems? Is it smooth? Are there opportunities for you to make, improvements? In other words, is your system janky, or do you need it, or is it together? Right? And have you thought about these things? Because I think that a lot of times in business, as business owners, and I'm guilty of the same thing. I'm like talking to you, but I'm really talking to the old me, right? We get in business oftentimes because we were raised to think we got to do a thing, we got to do it well, and oftentimes we find the thing that comes natural to us. But we don't think about all the things that go into making your business thrive, flourish, none of that. We just think, okay, find a client, get paid, do a good job. Let me break that down in my terms, what that translates into. Have traffic, attract somebody, right? System 1. System 4, get paid. System 5, deliver, right? How do you do it? Right? And all those things matter, but we forget about what it takes. Now, there's a point to all this, and we'll get to this after I talk about System 6. So now that you got your payment, now you got to deliver and do a good job. So delivery, now while I said System 2, right, is the beginning of efficiency. It's that's how you know that you're doing a good job. That's how you know you're talking to the right people, right? So that in System 4, I forgot to mention this, System 4 is the beginning of trust. Have you ever worked with somebody and they make it hard for you to pay them? What's the first thing that you think? Dang, I don't know if I like working with these people, right? They kind of make it hard for me to pay. But if you make it easy for somebody to pay, they'll stay. I say it again. If you make it easy for somebody to pay, they'll stay. If you make it hard for them to pay, they'll hit the yard. They're gone, right? People don't like to pay, but if you make it easy, you start to build trust, right? They trust that it's going to be smooth. Nobody likes the money be played with. People want to know that everything was handled right. Oh, and I hope that you're sending receipts, because that's also a part of System 4. There's nothing worse than making a payment. I was in this networking group, and the owner of the networking group would take your money but never let you know that the money was received, so you never knew whether or not it was paid or it wasn't paid. And I had a scenario in which I thought I had made a payment, but because I never got the receipt or there was no receipts, I didn't know that I was missing the payment. Neither did I get that's another thing. What happens if somebody misses a payment? Do you have a reminder system to let them know that, you missed the payment, or, hey, your payment was declined, right? Or any of that, right? That's all in System 4, how you transact a sale, right? If none of that exists, you start to build negative brand equity or antitrust, right? People don't trust you. So therefore, they're not going to come back and stay with you. They're going to hit the yard, right? And then you make it hard, they hit the yard. You make it easy to pay, they'll always stay, right? But there's no communication. So that's the beginning of trust. The beginning of building a brand happens in System 5, right? System 5 is what we've always been told to do. Do a good job, right? But there's a system around doing a good job. One, do you have communication systems to let people know where they're currently at and while you're delivering what it is that you're going to deliver, right? How do they know that you've done it? How do they know that you've done what you're supposed to do? Like, some of y'all out there would benefit from having a checklist. So in your appointment or while we're working together, and you give them the key indicators to let them know, this is how you know that it's been done the right way at the right time, and how you can gauge what it is that's going to be done and know that it was done well. You got to give them that. So System 5, the delivery, it goes beyond just you doing the work. that you're going to do, the transformation that you're going to provide. There's communication that goes into System 5, letting people know how far along in the process they are. Say, for instance, working with in a med spa, and you have somebody on a weight loss program, a weight loss and beautification program, right? You might say that we have a game plan in place, right? We have a 12-month run from the time that you start to the time that you're going to be done, right? We're going to walk you through getting these GLP-1 shots over the next 12 months. What if you send a communication, say, hey, congratulations on your first step. Hey, we're in 2 months. Hold on, we only got 10 more to go. And you just keep on cheerleading them along the way. Now you're building a brand. Now you're building something that people are going to remember, and they're going to want to share with somebody else because of how you deliver. What's your delivery system? How are you delivering? What's the routine and how you deliver a good quality service that's going to make somebody a raving fan, right? What's it going to take? So to recap, to go back to the top of the question, do all of these systems, are they still relevant even in today's age of AI? Yes. In fact, I would say that AI helps bolster these steps. It helps make these steps better. And like I say, a good system is going to make the human better. A good system makes the human better. AI should make you a better human because you're able to dig in deeper to what the real issues are that you're trying to solve. So let's go into System 6. System 6 is the follow-up and retargeting system. So System 6 is a unique system in that it is intertwined with each one of the other 5 systems. Behind every step in the 5 systems, that so far, there's going to be a follow-up step, which is System 6. If somebody opts in because they saw you on social media and now they say, oh, I'd like to schedule a consultation with you, then you send them an email, say your consultation has been scheduled. That's System 6. And System 2, they get qualified. You say, hey, thank you very much for taking the time to fill out the survey. We have received it and we've confirmed your appointment. That's another follow-up step. And that happens in System 3, and it also happens in System 4. System 4, our receipt, right? We got your payment. System 6 right there. We didn't get your payment. System 6. Those are all communication steps. And then System 5, obviously, we talked about that. And then how you can communicate with people during the delivery or the transformation to let them know that you're on pace with them and that they're on pace with them, with their goals, right? And how you communicate with people so that they show up to the appointment ready, right? Imagine you go to your dentist's office and your dentist says, hey, we got you scheduled for 10 o'clock today. It's going to be approximately 50 minutes. You should be in and out within the hour. Or say, for instance, you're running behind that day. And on the day of, say, hey, well, your appointment's at 10 o'clock. We're running about 2 minutes behind our regularly scheduled, so don't mind. If you don't mind coming into the office and asking for a bottle of water, we'll have that ready for you. What if that was the system that you had in place as a dentist's office, right? So System 6, that's System 6. System 6 is the communication step, the follow-up between each one of the other systems. Also part of System 6 is the retargeting. Now imagine you did all the other systems really, really well, and then you're at the place where you're looking to bring that person back into your practice, to bring them back as a client, or bring them back as a patient. That's also System 6, the retargeting. And you might be saying, okay, so how do I scale my profits? How you scale your profits is by providing your list of clients or list of patients a new offer. Let's use the example of a dentist's office. Say as a dentist's office, you know that you have somebody's dental records and you know that they came in for teeth cleaning. Well, you also know that you have a teeth whitening program that you can get somebody into that's going to move the teeth whitening up a guaranteed 2 levels. Well, Would it make more sense to retarget the people that came in for teeth cleaning and they're coming in every 6 months for teeth cleaning? Would it make more sense to retarget them either while they're sitting in the chair or after they leave the appointment with a offer to come in and get teeth whitening? Absolutely it would. It makes total sense, right? Or somebody that came in got a bridge, right? Or they got a tooth extraction to offer them veneers or offer them permanent dental replacements. Makes sense, right? And if you know that you've done a good job of System 2 will help support System 6. System 2 will identify their primary issue, their secondary issue, and their tertiary or third issue, right? So that you know they want to deal, first they need to get their teeth clean. The second thing they're concerned about is their missing teeth being shown when they smile, so that you can then offer them in System 6 in a retargeting effort, maybe permanent replacements or veneers, or however that works. I'm not a dentist, but I can imagine that's how that works. And that works the same as if you have a consultancy, a health and wellness consultancy. Works the same if you have somebody that's coming in for counseling, right? They came in for marital counseling. You might want to double back and help them and say, hey, now that you've gone through marital counseling, we've identified that there's some resources out there that might help you with just general anxiety, so you can show up better long term for your spouse. Or you might even offer them individual counseling. Now that they came in and they've gone through the course of successful counseling as a couple, now make the individual strong. So a strong individual two strong individuals make a strong marriage, right? So therefore, you might offer that. So that's where System 6 comes into play. And again, a better way to say systems is routine. What is the routine that helps get somebody that's a complete stranger to become a client? And then what is then the system or the routine to help them come back to you again and give you more money? Now, the great thing about this is that all these systems now have levers and knobs, right? They all have like checks and balances. If it's not working good or it's not working efficiently, you have a system where you can go in and just raise the level just a little bit, or bring that level down so that you can be able to manipulate or change at will to get a desired outcome. So you can spend more time out of the office, spend more time with your family, spend more time with your friends, or even do a better job at being a practitioner or being a counselor or being a better human to help better the lives of another human. And that's why I'm here, right? That's why I'm here, to help you become a better, insert your title so that you can help humanity be better. At the end of the day, we all have a mission, and my mission is to help your mission thrive. If you guys are looking to join and get on a call, then if you guys want to talk about it, I'm going to say go to chat with Xavier.com. I put in that in the chat. You can go in to drop in there and schedule some time, right? Get some time with me. Let's talk about how we can make your business better. Because all these systems are going to help you scale, so that scale your business so you can make your own personal life better, and you can impact the lives of others better. Again, I'm Xavier. I'm the Traffic Link. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I do want to say that I'm getting better at YouTube and going live. I'm getting better at it, right? I'm not at my final form. And I thank you guys all for joining and tapping in with me so that I can become a better person and I can do better for you all. Thank you for being a part of my community. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate feedback in the comments. Until next week or until the next time, I'm Xavier. I'm out. Have a great one. Be blessed by the best.